Hello everyone, and welcome to my Update US Gossip channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. For decades, Sister Wives has offered viewers a glimpse into the complicated world of the Brown family, a household marked by shifting alliances, personal ambition, and the pressures of living under a relentless media spotlight. Over the years, each member of the family has been scrutinized for their behavior, and the relationships among the wives have often been a focal point of discussion. One headline that has recently stirred debate is Robyn Brown shocked by OG wife's stupidity? A provocative statement like this naturally generates strong reactions, with fans interpreting it in a variety of ways. To fully understand what such a headline might imply, it is essential to examine the underlying factors that contribute to the portrayal of conflict within the family, the media's role in shaping narratives, and how these dynamics resonate with broader cultural discussions about accountability, loyalty, and personal growth. Contextualizing the headline. At its core, the headline uses charged language to describe tensions among the wives of Kody Brown, with OG wives referring to the original wives who have been with the family from its early days. In popular discourse, OG is often used to denote authenticity or a founding status. When paired with a term like stupidity, the language is clearly intended to be sensational and provocative. However, it is important to approach such language with caution. In reality television, and particularly in a series as long-running and emotionally complex as Sister Wives, conflicts are seldom black and white. The interactions among the wives are nuanced, and while disagreements and hurt feelings are common, reducing these dynamics to a matter of one group being stupid oversimplifies what is often a deep-seated struggle for recognition and respect. Critics of sensational headlines argue that such language can be misleading, distorting the genuine emotional challenges the family faces. For example, if Robyn has expressed frustration with certain decisions or behaviors of the original wives, it might reflect long-standing tensions and competing narratives rather than a simple matter of intellectual or moral superiority. Headlines like these are designed to grab attention and drive ratings, but they often do not capture the full complexity of interpersonal relationships. For fans and casual viewers alike, it is crucial to look beyond the surface and consider the context in which such sentiments arise. Examining the family dynamics. The Brown family, with its evolving structure and shifting alliances, is no stranger to internal conflicts. Over the years, the dynamics among Kody's wives have been influenced by various factors, ranging from differences in personality and life experiences to the constant pressures of public scrutiny. Robyn Brown, who in recent seasons has emerged as one of the most influential figures in the family, is often seen as a polarizing character. Her rise to prominence has sometimes come at the expense of the original wives, who may feel sidelined or undervalued as newer narratives take center stage. When a headline suggests that Robyn is shocked by the stupidity of the OG wives, it implies that she sees their behavior as somehow undermining the family's progress or her own position within it. However, such a characterization can be contentious. The original wives, by virtue of being the foundational members of the family, have endured their own share of hardships and conflicts over the years. They have navigated complex interpersonal dynamics and often felt the weight of expectations placed upon them by both Kody and the public. In this light, any conflict between Robyn and the OG wives is likely multifaceted, rooted in years of accumulated grievances, evolving roles, and differing visions for the family's future. It is possible that Robyn's frustration, if genuine, stems from feeling that the original wives are resisting changes or acting in ways that complicate the family's ability to move forward. Alternatively, the narrative could be amplified by production choices, where selective editing highlights moments of discord while omitting counterbalancing expressions of mutual support. The resulting portrayal can lead to a simplified us versus them dynamic that does little to reflect the true nature of the relationships involved. Media framing and sensationalism. Reality television thrives on drama and conflict, and headlines like Robyn Brown shocked by OG wife's stupidity are crafted to capture attention. In the realm of reality TV, production teams and media outlets often focus on the most contentious moments, sometimes at the expense of context. A single eye roll, a dismissive comment, or a moment of visible frustration can be magnified into a defining characteristic of a person's public persona. When such moments are isolated and repeated across different episodes, they can give the impression of a consistent pattern of behavior, even if, in reality, the situation is far more nuanced. Sensational headlines serve a dual purpose. They not only attract viewership but also contribute to a public narrative that reinforces existing biases. For instance, if a portion of the audience already perceives the original wives as being resistant to change, any display of frustration from Robyn might be interpreted as confirmation of that belief. The language of the headline, particularly the use of the word stupidity, carries a heavy judgment that can overshadow the underlying issues. It frames the conflict in moralistic terms, implying that one group is inherently inferior to another. This oversimplification can be damaging, as it ignores the complexities of human relationships and the fact that every member of the family has a unique perspective shaped by her own experiences. The emotional landscape behind the scenes. For those who have followed sister wives closely, the relationships within the Brown family are deeply emotional and often fraught with unspoken pain. The public conflicts, as mediated by cameras and editing, are only the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, there may be a long history of misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and unmet expectations that have built up over time. Robyn's alleged shock at the behavior of the original wives could be a manifestation of this deep-seated emotional turmoil, a reaction to years of feeling marginalized, misunderstood, or even threatened by the presence of wives who have a long-standing claim to the family's legacy. Critics of the sensational narrative point out that such conflicts are rarely one-dimensional. The so-called stupidity of the original wives, as framed by the headline, is likely a reflection of a complex interplay of factors that include generational differences, evolving roles within the family, and the impact of constant public exposure. Rather than being an indictment of intelligence or character, the behaviors that are being criticized may be expressions of survival in a high-pressure environment. When individuals are constantly forced to perform for an audience, even their most natural responses can be misinterpreted as deliberate acts of defiance or incompetence. The broader impact on the family narrative. The way these controversies are presented has significant implications for the overall narrative of sister wives. Every time a headline emphasizes conflict, particularly one that pits Robyn against the original wives, it reinforces a dichotomy that can be hard to overcome. Fans who have long hoped for moments of genuine reconciliation and unity within the Brown family are left frustrated by narratives that focus solely on blame and division. The tension between new and old members of the family is a recurring theme, one that speaks to larger issues of legacy, identity, and the challenges of adapting to change in a world that is as unforgiving as it is unpredictable. For instance, if Robyn's frustration is indeed rooted in feelings of being unappreciated or overwhelmed by the resistance of the original wives, then a more constructive narrative might involve open dialogue and mutual support. Instead, sensational headlines reduce this potential complexity to a simple conflict, which not only undermines the possibility for healing but also perpetuates a cycle of public shaming and interpersonal strife. The role of social media and fan discourse. Social media plays a crucial role in amplifying these narratives. Fans on Twitter, Instagram, and various forums often dissect every moment of sister wives, sharing clips and commentary that can transform a minor disagreement into a major controversy. In the case of the headline in question, hashtags and discussion threads have exploded with interpretations that are as varied as they are passionate. Some fans express outrage at what they perceive as unfair treatment of the original wives, while others side with Robyn, arguing that her shock is a genuine reaction to behavior that has hindered the family's progress. This digital discourse not only reflects the polarized opinions among the fanbase but also influences how future episodes are received. The more that these narratives are amplified online, the more entrenched they become, often creating a feedback loop where reality TV drama is both a cause and a consequence of public perception. The path forward, toward a nuanced understanding. As Sister Wives continues to evolve, the hope among many viewers is that the family will move beyond these sensationalized narratives and address the deeper issues at play. A more nuanced portrayal of the relationships between Robyn and the original wives would involve acknowledging the complexities of their shared history, the pain of long-standing grievances, and the potential for reconciliation if all parties are willing to engage in honest dialogue. For instance, if Robyn were to express not only frustration but also a willingness to listen and understand the perspectives of the original wives, it could pave the way for meaningful change. Conversely, if the cycle of blame and sensational headlines continues, the family risks becoming trapped in a self-perpetuating narrative of division and conflict that serves neither their long-term interests nor those of their audience. Conclusion. In summary, the headline "Robyn Brown Shocked by OG Wife's Stupidity" encapsulates a dramatic moment that many fans interpret as symptomatic of deeper, unresolved tensions within the Brown family. While the language of the headline is provocative and designed to attract attention, a closer examination reveals a complex tapestry of interpersonal dynamics shaped by years of public scrutiny, shifting alliances, and emotional baggage. Robyn's purported shock may be less about the inherent qualities of the original wives and more about her own struggles to adapt to a changing family landscape, a landscape where long-held roles and rivalries are continuously renegotiated under the relentless gaze of the public eye. For viewers and critics alike, this controversy serves as a reminder of the high stakes involved in living life in the spotlight. It challenges the simplistic narratives often portrayed by sensational headlines and calls for a more in-depth, empathetic exploration of the issues at hand. As the Brown family navigates the challenges of modern fame and complex interpersonal relationships, the hope is that they will eventually find a way to move past these divisions and build a future based on mutual understanding, accountability, and genuine support. Ultimately, whether or not Robyn's shock is justified, or whether the so-called stupidity of the original wives is a fair characterization, remains a subject of heated debate among Sister Wives fans. What is clear, however, is that these discussions are a testament to the enduring fascination with the Brown family saga, a story that continues to provoke passionate responses and invite viewers to look beyond the headlines to understand the true complexities of modern family dynamics. The saga of the Kody Pass property has long been one of the most contentious issues in the Sister Wives narrative. Purchased in 2018 for approximately $820,000, this expansive 14-acre plot in Flagstaff, Arizona, was originally envisioned as a communal asset, an opportunity for Kody Brown and his wives to build separate homes that would symbolize the family's unity and financial success. Over time, however, the dream of the big polygamous family began to crumble amid internal strife, shifting alliances, and mounting financial pressures. As legal battles ensued and the once united family began to fracture, disputes over property division emerged as a focal point for controversy. For many fans, the division of Kody Pass is not just about real estate, it represents the very real costs of maintaining a polygamous lifestyle under constant public scrutiny. With legal divorces, spiritual separations, and bitter battles over assets, every dollar and every parcel of land is scrutinized as a measure of personal betrayal and lost opportunity. In this context, news that Janelle Brown, one of Kody's former wives, has secured what is being dubbed a huge settlement payout from the division of Kody Pass has ignited intense debate. The legal battle over property. As the Brown family's internal relationships deteriorated, the question of how to equitably divide the assets, especially a high-profile property like Kody Pass, became increasingly urgent. With Christine Brown departing in 2021, Janelle in 2022, and Mary Brown following suit in early 2023, Kody eventually found himself legally and spiritually tied only to his fourth wife, Robyn. This series of separations not only reshaped the family's composition but also left a complicated web of financial entanglements that were difficult to untangle. For years, disputes over how much each former wife was entitled to from the family's real estate holdings, particularly Kody Pass, were a recurring theme on the show. Sources close to the family indicated that behind-the-scenes negotiations had been underway, with some wives demanding an equal share of the property's value while others, like Janelle, argued that the settlement should reflect their contributions to the family's collective finances. Legal experts familiar with similar high-profile disputes noted that when multiple parties are involved and assets are intertwined with personal relationships, settlements can reach staggering figures, often influenced by both the market value of the property and the emotional weight of the relationships involved. Janelle Brown's settlement payout, what we know. While exact figures are often kept under wraps, Insider reports suggest that Janelle Brown's share of the Kody Pass settlement is significantly larger than many had anticipated. For many fans, this huge settlement payout is seen as a vindication of her long-held grievances regarding Kody's mismanagement of family assets. Janelle, who once described the family's financial decisions as a series of mixed signals and questionable priorities, is now rumored to have secured a payout that could help secure her future independently of the remaining Brown family enterprise. In recent interviews and promotional materials leading up to the new season of Sister Wives, Janelle has alluded to the fact that the settlement not only provides financial relief but also serves as a form of emotional closure, a tangible acknowledgement that her contributions to the family's well-being were worth something. According to People and other entertainment sources, while Kody and Robyn continue to navigate their strained relationship, Janelle's settlement from the Kody Pass division marks a turning point for her personally, as she appears poised to invest that money into new ventures and, perhaps, a fresh start in a different geographic or professional setting. People.com. Financial implications and future prospects. From a financial standpoint, the settlement is significant. Real estate experts note that properties like Kody Pass, located near national forests and offering sizable acreage, have the potential to appreciate substantially over time. With the current market conditions and the unique appeal of such properties, even a conservative estimate could place the payout in the high six-figure or even low seven-figure range for each party involved. For Janelle, this influx of cash represents more than just a windfall. It is an opportunity to restructure her finances, perhaps invest in new business ventures, or secure a more stable living situation independent of the familial chaos that has defined much of the Brown family's recent history. The settlement could also serve as a bargaining chip in future negotiations. Given that Kody's remaining relationship with Robyn continues to draw public attention, and that financial disputes remain a recurring theme on the show, Janelle's success in this matter might embolden other former wives to seek similar arrangements in future legal disputes. For viewers, the settlement is a concrete example of how the internal conflicts of a high-profile family can lead to dramatic shifts in personal fortunes. Emotional and symbolic dimensions. Beyond the sheer financial figures, Janelle's settlement payout carries deep emotional and symbolic weight. For years, she has been positioned as one of the more outspoken and resilient members of the Brown family, often voicing her dissatisfaction with Kody's leadership and the way in which family resources were managed. To many fans, the payout is seen as a form of poetic justice, a recognition that, despite being marginalized at times, her contributions were significant enough to warrant a substantial financial reward. Moreover, the settlement is symbolic of a broader shift in the family's narrative. It marks the end of an era in which Kody's mismanagement of assets and the ensuing disputes left former wives feeling undervalued. Janelle's ability to secure a sizable payout may be viewed as a turning point, a moment when the scales of justice finally tip in favor of those who have long borne the brunt of the family's internal power struggles. This new financial independence could empower her to forge a new path, free from the constraints and emotional baggage of the past. Impact on family dynamics. The fallout from the settlement is likely to reverberate throughout the Brown family. With Janelle now holding a significant stake from the division of Kody Pass, tensions may flare between her and Kody, as well as between her and the other former wives. Legal settlements in such closely knit families are rarely just about money. They serve as a marker of what each party perceives as their rightful share of the legacy and, by extension, their value within the family structure. For Kody and Robyn, who continue to grapple with their own internal struggles, the settlement may represent a painful reminder of the costs of neglect and mismanagement. Meanwhile, for Janelle, it could serve as a launching pad for a future in which she has more autonomy and less dependency on the complicated dynamics of the polygamous family. Some fans speculate that if the settlement leads to a more independent lifestyle for Janelle, it could further widen the gap between the former wives and the remaining family members. On the other hand, it might also prompt a re-examination of long-held grievances, paving the way for more honest and perhaps even healing conversations about the past. Fan reactions and media coverage. As with many major developments in the Sister Wives universe, the news of Janelle's settlement payout has elicited a wide range of reactions from fans. Social media platforms are abuzz with debates about the fairness of the payout, the implications for Kody's financial legacy, and the potential for future disputes among the ex-wives. Some fans celebrate Janelle's financial victory, hailing it as long overdue recognition of her efforts and resilience in the face of ongoing turmoil. Hashtags such as #JanelleWins and #CoyotePassCash have begun trending in certain circles, reflecting a growing sentiment that the settlement is a positive step toward redressing past wrongs. Critics, however, warned that the settlement could further complicate the already fractured relationships within the Brown family. They argue that while the payout might offer Janelle immediate financial relief, it also has the potential to sow seeds of resentment and division. With each former wife holding different views on how family assets should be divided, a high-profile settlement like this one might serve as a catalyst for further legal and personal battles. Media coverage has been mixed, with some outlets portraying the payout as a triumph for Janelle and others suggesting that it is just another chapter in the endless saga of familial dysfunction that has come to define sister wives. People.com. Broader implications for reality TV and property disputes. The issue of dividing family assets in the context of a reality TV series is not unique to sister wives. Across the genre, high-profile families are increasingly finding themselves embroiled in legal battles over property, finances, and legacy. In many ways, the Coyote Pass settlement is emblematic of a larger trend in which personal disputes become public spectacles, with every legal maneuver dissected by audiences around the world. Legal experts note that cases like this one underscore the challenges of managing assets in a non-traditional family structure, where the lines between personal relationships and financial entitlements are often blurred. For the Brown family, the settlement is a stark reminder that even beloved TV stars are not immune to the harsh realities of property law and financial management. Moreover, the settlement raises important questions about the future direction of the show. As the family continues to evolve, now with only Robyn as Kody's remaining wife and the former wives seeking independence, the division of assets like Coyote Pass could become a recurring theme in future episodes. Viewers may come to see these legal battles not as isolated incidents, but as integral to the unfolding narrative of how a once unified family is forced to confront the practical realities of its own dissolution. The human cost behind the numbers. While financial figures and legal strategies often dominate discussions about settlements, it is important not to lose sight of the human cost behind these numbers. For Janelle, securing a huge payout from the division of Coyote Pass is as much an emotional victory as it is a financial one. After decades of navigating a complex and often painful family dynamic, the settlement represents a form of closure, a tangible acknowledgement that her contributions to the family were significant, even if they were not always recognized at the time. This emotional dimension is echoed in fan discussions, where many express a mix of admiration and sympathy for Janelle. For viewers who have followed her journey over the years, the settlement is seen as a symbol of her resilience, a concrete reward for having weathered years of internal conflict and public scrutiny. At the same time, however, the settlement is a reminder of what the family has lost along the way. The division of Coyote Pass is not just a business transaction, it is a reflection of fractured relationships, shattered dreams, and the heavy price of a life lived in the relentless spotlight of reality TV.